God bless you, family. I'm a changed man for life. Thank you for stopping in and checking out my channel. Thank you for stopping in and checking out this video. If you have not yet subscribed, please take this opportunity to do so. Smash that subscribe button, ring the notification bell so you can get alerts when the new content is dropped. God bless y'all. It is Wednesday evening. Hope everybody had a great day. And as you can see by the thumbnail, I am sharing my thoughts on a video from Dubs. Now, shout out to Dubs. If you do not know about Dubs or his channel, please go check him out. Give him a sub, give him a like, check out his content. Does some really good stuff. I actually came on his channel. He invited me on his channel. We had a cool little discussion. Supposed to be doing a part 2 in the near future. I don't know him personally outside of our interactions on social media. We've chatted a little bit on Instagram. We've chatted a little bit, during his videos, during his lives. I made comment. And like I said, he had me on his channel. But I don't know him like outside of that. Didn't do time with him. We may have been in the same institution at the same time at one point, but we didn't know each other, or maybe we weren't even on the same yard. We were just in the same institution. But that's really neither here nor there. But I just do want to give props to Dubs for this topic. And I really do recommend that you go check out this particular video of his, as well as his other content. So the topic of Dubs' video was, did he, as someone convicted of murder, deserve to be free? And I posed the question about myself and about others that are in similar circumstances. If you don't know my story, if you haven't checked out any of my videos, I'm an ex-lifer. I did 24 years in prison. I was charged with a first-degree murder and ultimately sentenced to 30 years to life. I was 21 years old at the time the crime took place. I was a gang member. I was a drug addict. And I was just living a messed up lifestyle. I wasn't right, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, none of that. I didn't know it at the time, thought I was normal, thought that was just regular life. But as I matured and as I did self-help programs in prison, I came to learn that I had a lot of issues and I had to work through those issues. So that's basically, what Doug was talking about, right? And I really liked his video, the way he kicked it off. He ran down the crime that he caught a life sentence for. He ran down what happened. He told the story of how it happened and then talked about going to prison. And one of the things that Dubs mentioned that I can relate to and that I, often encounter myself is trolls in the comments. I've had people comment on my videos. I've had people reply to my comments on other people's videos and talk about how I have no business being free. A lot of times what I do when I talk about getting out of prison, I always give thanks to God, because as far as I'm concerned, that's the only reason I'm home, is because of the grace of God in my life, the hand of God on my life. And I wouldn't be sitting here doing this video were it not for the grace of God. I'd still be sitting in a cell wondering if I was ever going to go home. So I've had people reply to that saying, God had nothing to do with you getting out. You're only out because the California justice system is a joke, or California soft on crime, or whatever it may be. I've had people get in the comments and straight up tell me that I should still be sitting in a cell, that I should have gotten the death penalty, that the fact that I took a life, my life should have been taken, all kinds of stuff along those lines. So when Dubs was talking about that, those same things happened to him, I was able to relate to that. And this is a topic that I've considered many times. I've had conversations with my family about this. I've had conversations with other lifers about this. I even did a video somewhat related to this topic, more focused on Mother's Day and how that affects my mental state and my emotional state. But in my thumbnail, I posed the question, do I agree with Dubs? And Dubs' stance, speaking for himself, and like he mentioned, what he has heard from many other lifers, is no, absolutely, we don't deserve to be out. Again, I will tell you that the reason I'm sitting here is because of the grace of God. And that's it. I don't think that, oh, well, I did enough time. Oh, well, I did enough self help. Oh, well, I got my education and I changed and I stayed out of trouble for a long time and this and that and the other. None of that equals the value of a life. Truth be told, myself, and in my opinion, all other lifers should still be sitting there in prison. We don't deserve, and that word is very key, because the parole board will sometimes even ask you when you're at your parole hearing as a lifer, do you deserve to be set free? The honest truth is no, we don't. I don't deserve to be home. I don't deserve to be free. I don't deserve the good job and the family I have and the home I live in and the car I drive and all that other stuff. Being able to go to football games and being able to hold my grandchildren and tell them I love them and being able to just experience life. I don't deserve any of that. I'm blessed to have all of that. I took somebody's life. I was 21 years old. The person who I murdered was 20 years old. I was living a street lifestyle. He was living a street lifestyle. That doesn't justify at all what I did. And all these 30 plus years later, I still deal with the remorse of what I did. There's times where I just break down, crying in tears, just so hurt that I was a person that could do that to somebody, especially when I go to funerals. I go to funerals and I see the loved one of the person that's there in that coffin, that's there in that casket. I see their family crying and holding onto the casket and really going through it. And I think, man, that's what I did to somebody. I put somebody's family through this. Because of me, somebody's family was in tears like that. Because of me, somebody's loved ones were draped over their casket, crying and screaming and just brokenhearted and just losing it. You know what I mean? And that hurts. It's hurtful to know that I caused that kind of pain. And again, I'll go back to say it. I don't deserve to be home. I've had people tell me, well, you did your time and you did all the self-help stuff that you were supposed to do. And all that's true. But that again does not equate to the value of a human life. I was given a certain sentence by the state. I fulfilled that sentence. So yes, I did the time that our legal system says I should have done. And yes, I did numerous self-help classes to learn about myself, to learn why I made the choices that I made. And I've been home for 10 years now. So I know that those self-help classes took root. I know that everything I had learned and applied in my life has been beneficial because I never went back to prison, never went back to using drugs, never went back to my former lifestyle. I've maintained a job, the entire time I've been home. I have been involved with my church for the entire time I've been home. So I know that all that inner work that I did has taken root, that I truly have changed my way of thinking, my outlook on things, my belief system, all that. Does that mean that I deserve to be home? No, not at all. Like Dub said, we did something terrible. I did something very terrible. I took a life. I took someone's son away from them, somebody's child. He was not a child. Nevertheless, he was somebody's child. And I took that person away. I don't know if that man had children. I don't know if he had brothers and sisters. But I took a life that was not mine to take. And because of that, what I deserve is to still be sitting in a cell. But by the grace of God, and only by the grace of God, I was allowed to come home and to be involved in the things I'm involved in. And when I went to my first parole hearing, during the time that they were deliberating and deciding if they were going to let me out, I was put in a holding tank while they were, talking amongst themselves. And while I was in that holding tank, my prayer was, God, please let me go home. I miss my family. I miss my friends. please, I just want to, I'm tired of being in here. Please just let me go home. And they called me back in and they told me they were denying me parole. A year and a half later, when I went back to the parole board, once again, it's that deliberation time. I'm put in a holding tank. This time my prayer is, God, if you want me to stay in here for the rest of my life and serve you, then that's what I'll do. But if you have a work for me to do, if you have a plan for my life, if you have something to send me out there to do, then send me out there to do it. And when I went back in, they told me they were finding me suitable for parole and recommending to the governor that I be released. 5 months later, I walked out of prison. So that tells me that God did, in fact, have a plan for me, has a plan for me. He has a mission for me. He has work, kingdom work for me to do. And I believe that I'm doing that. I believe that me sharing these videos and doing this YouTube channel and, letting people know that street life ain't where it's at, that being in prison ain't where it's at. I believe all that is part of the work that God had for me. I believe that's part of the plan that God has for me. And I know that there's going to be people that see this video and I'm sure going to hop in the comments and be again with the same, you don't belong out here stuff and you should be rotting in prison. And that's their opinion and they're entitled to it. And to a certain extent, I do understand where they're coming from. But you cannot go against what God has put in motion. Again, I don't say that I'm sitting here because I'm so great that I was just this model inmate. I don't say that I'm out because, I got my college degree and I took all these classes and I started teaching all these classes. It has nothing to do with me. I'm just blessed to be home by the grace of God. Dubs is blessed to be home by the grace of God. Every lifer that was in prison for murder and is now home is only home by the grace of God. And I agree with what Dubs said, that any lifer you ask, if you ask them, do I deserve to be home? If they're keeping it 100, if they're being straight up, they're going to tell you, no, I don't deserve it. You'll find a very, very, very tiny percentage that will say, well, I did the time I was supposed to do, and I took all these classes. So yeah, it was time for me to come home. That's not my opinion. There are people that have that opinion. I don't knock them for that. That's what they believe. But I can tell you, sitting here today as someone that's about to turn 55 in a couple of days, someone that spent 24 years in prison, someone that went to prison 21 years old and came home 45, someone that went to prison with a 3-year-old son and came home to a 27-year-old son with his own kids. All of that is simply by the grace of God. I don't deserve to be out. I never, ever, ever want to go one day without being humble and grateful and thankful that I am home. I don't ever want to go one day without trying to be a blessing to my community, without trying to do something to make this world a better place. Because there was a time where I was responsible for causing chaos in this world. I was responsible for causing chaos within the family of the person whose life I took, as well as my own family. I created chaos in my community, and I have to spend every day with remorse in my heart and demonstrate that remorse by the way I live and by the way I carry myself and the things I do. And it's just where it's at. You know what I mean? Am I deserving of being home? No, not at all. And if anybody thinks that lifers, people that have taken a life, that are out here now, feel entitled to our freedom, absolutely not. I could tell you all the ex-lifers that I deal with that were friends of mine that I've encountered since I've been home. Every single one will look you in the eye and tell you how they are filled with remorse, that they know they are blessed to be home and don't deserve it at all. Every day I wake up thinking that if I could give back the life I took by giving my own life, I'd gladly do it. That's how devastating what I did was. I understand that. I'm just super blessed to be home. I'm super blessed to have this opportunity to share with you all from my heart about my remorse and about, the person I'm trying to be today and the life I'm trying to live today. Shout out to Dubs for the really good video and for giving me some inspiration for a video of my own. Again, if you guys haven't checked him out, go check him out. I'll leave a link in the description to the video that I'm talking about that Dubs did on this topic, where he talks about his crime and talks about his thoughts and his feelings about, if he deserves his freedom or not. Go check that out. Let him know the Change Man for Life sent you. I really do appreciate you all stopping in. I got a few more days of being 54 years old. I turn 55 on the 9th. Maybe I'll do a live. Maybe I'll have a little birthday live or something. But I'll tap in with you all later. Be on the lookout for chapter 3 of Lifer Talk. Got that coming to you soon. Again, thank you for stopping and checking the channel out. I appreciate you all. Jesus loves you and so do I. God bless you.